The government of Kenya is keen on the development of social economic infrastructure to support the realization of Agenda and Vision 2030. The ambitious infrastructure projects are aimed at opening up the country for business and bolster productivity, particularly in the agricultural, manufacturing and the service industry, as this would bolster employment opportunities. Part of these critical infrastructure projects include the ongoing 27-kilometer expressway linking Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and Nairobi's Westlands. Upon completion, the expressway will exponentially reduce travel times within Nairobi and thus help the country save man-hours, which is being lost in the traffic jams on a daily basis. The Lake Victoria Port Modernization Project to increase cargo handling capacity of the port and to increase Kenya's bilateral and multilateral trading within the region. The expansion of healthcare facilities to facilitate fruition of the country's universal healthcare coverage under the Big Four agenda. By speeding up movement of people and goods, the government is aiming to promote trading through reduction of travel times and costs. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us again. This is the People's Court. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and it is a pleasure for you to be with us this morning. As usual, we're coming to you all the way from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi, and the station is Punchline Africa TV, where our business is the business of Africa. Except this morning, we will continue with the conversation, I think, from morning, and the other day we were supposed to talk about it, but yesterday we had to go all the way to Dodoma to bring you the live events there of the late President John Pombe Magufuli. They were having a national prayers and viewing in Dodoma, and so that was important for us to bring to you. So today we are back and we want to look at this topic of the United Democratic Alliance, or UDA party. The UDA party was formerly known as the Party of Development and Reform. It changed its name later per the Political Parties Act in a Gazette notice dated December 28, 2020. A Party for Development and Reform changed its name to UDA. The party symbol was formerly that of a bull and was changed to a wheelbarrow. I don't know how smart that is. So the UDA party came into the Kenyan limelight in January 2021. In one of his address, the UDA chairman Johnson Muthama said the party is the chosen bus that will help drive Deputy President William Ruto to State House in 2020. And during the press conference in Nairobi at the same time in January 2021, Senator Murkomen said, "In our father's house, there are many rooms. We have just moved to the brighter, renovated, welcoming room that is the UDA. But from the losses this party has suffered, and from what we've been seeing playing out in the recent past, is UDA a dead horse on arrival? And will it be able to make it to 2022? And that is the basis of our conversation this morning. And I see the Standard newspaper also has a story on the same. I didn't even know. On page 8 of the Standard newspaper, there a story titled "UDA losses in by-elections jolt Ruto's 2022 game plan." So on my panel this morning to help me out with this conversation, I have Samuel Tawish from Nairobi. Samuel, very good morning to you.
Unmute. Good morning, Miriam. Apologies for that. Good morning. I'm very fine. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And also we do have Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam, my fellow panelists and our viewers from wherever they are, this morning or afternoon.
Okay, a very good morning to you, Prof. And we're also joined by Musa Abdi Haji from Isiolo County. Musa, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad to be here.
It is a pleasure. We also have Douglas Kirimi from Meru County, our main man from the central region there. Douglas, good morning. Okay, he's fixing his technology. He shall be with us just shortly. But we also have Jevan Karanja from Nanyuki, the other side of Mount Kenya region. Jevan, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Thanks for having me on the show.
It is a pleasure. Sasa tuanze tu hapa. They went and they changed the symbol of the initial party, which was a bull, to a wheelbarrow. Was that even a good move? I know this is a non-issue, but I mean, Javen, what do you make of that? Okay, a professor.
Yeah, Miriam, I'm going to give you some secrets which you don't know.
Please help me out.
Yeah, you know that party was National Labour Party of Kenya, which was started by the late Kenneth Kirikou. In fact, some times back, it had a member of parliament in the name of Walter Nyambati, then before parliament, then Kitutu Masaba. It came sometimes, Miriam, then some gangsters. You know, this country is having some gangsters, conmen. I could even have shown you the certificate. I have a live certificate for National Labour Party, that National Labour Party of Kenya. But again, someone clandestine, Miriam, decided to go and sell that party to the people from Northeastern. And then they changed the name from National Labour Party to the name which you are telling me. And then, Miriam, with no shame again, you know, these people have again changed the name and they changed the symbol, Miriam. Which was contrary because, Miriam, I believed in the ideals of Labour Party, like the Labour Party of UK. So, Miriam, so that's why even the eldest member of Dr. Masanga, he talked about the ideology. These people don't believe in an ideology, Miriam. You just don't wake up one morning and you change the party symbol without even consulting members and why they started that party. What the significance of a bull, what it means, Miriam.
So what did the bull mean? And I'm shocked to learn that your party now has a symbol now.
Miriam, what it does, it means hard work. We use the bull to do farming with it, and
wheelbarrow also stands for hard work. No?
No, let me tell you what I'm trying to tell you, that it was a Labour Party.
Yes.
Yes. And now what the bull does, it labors.
It labors.
So the ideas of the wheel, but I don't want to go there.
Okay.
What the basis I want to build is this.
I'm joking. Yes.
That we have been having fraudsters and the conmanship in that party, and this is what is manifesting itself. That's the point I want to bring it out. But what we want to know that the founders and the promoters of that party, the party was I checked from us. In fact, I could have contested with it, Miriam, in 2016, but the secretary, you know, the people of this, his secretary sold it, merely to come and realize that the party is already gone, and we did not want to go that line. And this is exactly what has happened. Now they have changed from the pool to the wheelbarrow, and you see there are some cracks simply because we do not have an ideology. We do not have the tenets which the party was built. So I can't just pick your dress and run away with it. It is not your body is not my size. But apparently the people in this country, that's what they do. They don't want to follow. You come together, you believe in ideologies, you believe in a symbol, you discuss even the colors, what they means. You don't just wake up that you become very clever that now you can change the symbol, change the colors, and you have got the party. That is dishonesty and the fraud and communist, Miriam.
Okay. Thank you so much. Then, Professor, obviously you are the right person to answer that question. So now I didn't even know that background information there. So now I'll just get us into our conversation for today. And among its vocal supporters are Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, MPs Ndindi Nyoro, Caleb Kositani, Nixon Kuril of Langata, and the entire Tanga Brigade, and of course Didmas Baraza, who over the weekend gave out some statements. I'd just like to take a look at we hear that, and then we will continue with the conversation.
Everybody knows that Didmas Wekesa Barasa subscribe to the ideals and ideologies of the hustler nation. I have not left the hustler nation, but I am taking a 4-month sabbatical leave. I say so because I want to play the role of an arbiter to be able to bring different warring political factions within Bungoma to be able to sit on the table, to amalgamate their vision that have always divided them for this region so that we can agree on a common front. And you know, you can't do that by wearing a uniform so that, for you to be able to be accepted, to be able to run these things. And I'll also be taking the time to consolidate, to consult with my people on what I've so far been able to achieve as a member of parliament in comparison with what I was promising them when I was moving around this region campaigning for my re-election. I'm also going to take that time to be able to ensure that my development agenda is in line with what my promise to the people was, and engage with the other stakeholders with a view of ensuring that this region moves in one direction. It pains me as a member of parliament, as a citizen of this country, as a resident of this county, that we are unable to sit down and agree, because we are children of one family. So I have appointed myself as an arbiter to be able to bring the Wangamati axis, the Wetangula axis, the Mohisa axis on a common table, so that we can be able to identify the interests of our region and try to see who is best placed to advance the interests of our region, either as a president or as a partner with the other Kenyans, so that we can be able to form the next government together. So that's basically what I wanted to brief to you. That is the big news that I have offered myself as an arbiter. I am taking a sabbatical leave for 4 months from high octane of national politics to be able to focus on my constituency. Once my constituency is all realigned, I will also be multitasking by also engaging the political leaders of this country. If Raila Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta were able to speak together through the handshake, I still believe that we have room, that the political confusion that we have so far seen in my county, Bungoma, where we have more than 4 political factions that are always talking to each other, that we can be able to agree and kill 3 factions, so that we're going to have 1 faction or at most 2 factions. And what we are going to do is that I'm open to this dialogue. I want to remind the people of Bungoma that I am committed. I'm driven by the desire to see this country achieve her economic goals. I have a desire to see this country achieve her political goals. And I've said that let me take the initiative. I'm the only person who is entering this type of negotiations and attempt to bring together all these warring factions with a good heart. Because I believe from where I sit, I have no competing political interests with Honorable Moses Wetangula. I have no political competing interests with Wycliffe Wafula Wangamati. I have no political competing interests with Dr. Mohisa Kitui. So despite my age, I want to be the first person to attempt to bring all these warring factions together. And I know I will succeed because, largely because we are all driven by the desire for economic transformation of our region, for economic transformation of our people, and for the prosperity of this country.
Thank you so much. That is Kimilili, a member of parliament, Honorable Didmus Baraza there, and he said the big news is I have offered myself as an arbiter, and also I'll be multitasking, and above all, he's quite worried about Bungoma politics, among other reasons, and he's saying he's coming in, he wants to bring everybody together, he wants to focus on his developmental agenda, and all these things will be done with a very good heart. Douglas Kirimi, what do you hear the MP there say? Javen?
Miriam, the greatest problem we have today is an opposition that is serving government and also a people that are not honest to themselves. Tanga and also UDA was a party that was not meant to be the way it is today. They thought that the euphoria that the deputy president draws across the country is going to translate into their party. And the people like Didmus Baraza are running away from accountability. When you run away from accountability from Dr. William Ruto, he will fail to give you the money that he has been giving you. So the sponsorships that they have been receiving versus the offer that they are receiving now are no longer coming from William Ruto. So Didmus Baraza, being a politician that he is, he has run away from the reality and he has gone ahead to go to other places where he can be accommodated and get more offers without accountability, because the issue in UDA today is accountability. Why is William Ruto spending a lot of time and a lot of money in logistics and also funding these MPs, and he is getting nothing? These seats have been embarrassment to him. He has only got one MCA, and it is coming to down on the faces and the eyes of these MPs and also senators that UDA will not be what they had anticipated. So I'm sorry to people, especially those who subscribe to the UDA ideology, that this party was never meant to be. Didmus Baraza said it. Others have walked away silently. They don't want to say it because it is a total embarrassment to the deputy president, the person of Didmus Baraza, and everyone else, Miriam, that thought that this is a tsunami that we have been waiting. I'm sorry to them. UDA was never meant to be this kind of an embarrassment, and it is not going to amount to anything in terms of national politics, Miriam. I hope William Ruto will find another party or go as an independent, because as he goes with UDA, Modama told us prophetically in Machakos, he said that this party is a sign of things to come. So the defeat that we have been receiving is a sign of things to come. It is a prolonged defeat that is going to be manifested effectively in 2022. I submit. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Samuel Tawish, what did you hear Didmus there saying?
Thank you once more, Miriam, and the rest of the panelists right there. That's great conversation we are having this afternoon regarding the political parties in this country, Kenya. And I think talking about Didmus Baraza and UDA, basically Didmus Baraza is just realizing that there's no future in UDA. Because again, they have been moving around the country, ostensibly trying to popularize a movement that does not resonate well with the ideals that the people of Kenya will subscribe. And I think they're coming to the reality that probably Kenyans are not buying into their narrative that seeks to divide this nation along ethnic and tribal lines. And so when they come to that realization, the only prudent thing that anyone who harbors an ambition to progress when it comes to politics in the near future is simply doing what Didmus Baraza has done. I think what he needs to do is just to undergo some sort of cleansing now that he's denounced UDA, denounced Tanga. I think that is essentially what it implies. Much as he didn't quite come out and speak against UDA, but you can clearly conclude, or rather draw a foregone conclusion that Didmus Baraza has eventually jumped ship from UDA and is seeking sanctuary in reasonable parties like, for example, Ford Kenya or Jubilee, the initial Jubilee Party, ODM, and other political outfits that we have in this country. Miriam and the panelists in studio and everyone who is watching us, I want to submit that in this country, we've had political parties that are not anchored on any ideology. Most of the political parties we have today in Kenya are more of machines which are used just to advance political interests or just to get elected. Once one gets elected through a political party, then they denounce that party and they start are actually deviating from the ideals of those particular parties. So I think, Miriam, it is high time that we put our politicians to task, and even ourselves. When we cheer these political leaders, when we cheer these newfound political parties, are we really doing this or anchored on any ideology? Is it anchored on any policy? Have we seen any kind of manifesto, sound manifestos that these people are coming out with, manifestos that seek to change and uplift the lives of the ordinary people? No, not at all. What we are seeing is just people who are actually moving around the country, undermining the head of state. I mean, trying to paint the head of state as a lame duck president who is not delivered for the people of Kenya simply because of an ambition of an individual. But we are happy that the chickens are coming back to roost, and these people who have been spearheading, the drivers of UDA and Tanga are finally finding reason, and they are finally waking up from slumber. They are finding that UDA and Tanga is not the future for them and ultimately for the people they purport to represent. And therefore, they have to seek sanctuary in other sound political parties, Miriam, I submit.
Okay, very well. Before Karanja, you come in, I say the story is also on page 8 of the Standard newspaper today, and just part of that says that as UDA was trying to come to terms with the losses, its stalwart Kimilili Member of Parliament Didmus Baraza announced he was temporarily disassociating with the Tanga wing of the Jubilee Party that is led by the DP. I think the clip that we just played there, Jevon, what all this well, he's saying he's taking a 4-month sabbatical, so he's saying he's not leaving, and he still believes in UDA ideology there. But what kind of impact will this have on UDA, if at all?
Yeah, thank you, Miriam, for that. And from onset, UDA party was a party of people who misbehaved in other parties, people who defected, people who have no agenda. They formed and they came together, they converged, and they called themselves UDA. This is after the Tanga and so on. Therefore, the people in UDA, they had no political agenda for the people of Kenya, but they were seeking somewhere where they can call home to continue with their politics. They had no interest of Kenyans. That is why they have been hanging in Jubilee, other hanging on ODM, but they don't want to go and popularize their party. They don't want to leave their original parties and concentrate with their UDA. And number two, Miriam, we have seen the UDA party losing in various by-elections. They only won 1 out of 9 by-election concluded recently. This shows that these are parties that didn't take the momentum. It's a party that is not taking shape. And the people who initiated this party, they didn't resonate well with the people they purport to represent, and that is the Hustler Nation. They seems to have diverted or gone out of way with what the Hustler Nations would like. But they have tried to come up with the slogans, and these are the funny thing with this political party that we have in this country. They only come up with slogans that take momentum, that every Kenya can talk about, and see for the sake of UDA. They have kazi ni kazi, something that maybe resonates well with the populace, but at the end of the day, they don't have that agenda to what next after kazi ni kazi. What is this kazi that you are promising us? That I think that is where they failed to take a momentum. What Didmus Baraza is telling us is that the stay in UDA, the short stay in UDA is over, and now people are going back home to where they can go and pendle their political ambitions, where they can be guaranteed of a future in politics. That is what Didmus is telling us. Now he is telling us he's concentrating on the Bungoma politics, on the Ford Kenya, ANC, and other dominant political parties in the Western Kenya, because he knows one thing, that all politics is local. And from onset, UDA is not a party from Western Kenya, is not a party from Central Kenya. This is a party that holds nowhere. It's a party that is not in Machakos, it is not in Coast Kenya. It's a party of defectors. It's a party, and this is how I call them, it's a party who misbehave in other parties. The likes of Aisha Jumwa, Muhammad Ali, they come together. That is why you find it, even in Rift Valley, where Deputy President comes from, the Oscar Sudi, the Kipchumba Murkomen, they don't want to associate with this party. They don't want to be the leaders in this political outfit. But this political party, the leadership leadership was given to political rejectees like Bondi Harwale, Mudhama, Hassan Omar, because it's a party that they are not serious with. Miriam already, and I told you yesterday, the UDA party is split into two as we talk. There are those people who support the deputy president, and there are those people, and recently, it is in public domain, the UDA party have signed a political memorandum with the TSP party that is led by Mwangi Kiunjuri, and that is where the contentious and the controversy in the UDA party has come out clearly. This is where Didmus Baraza have realized that this UDA party is continuing the Kikuyu Kalenjin dominance in Kenyan's politics. That we find people in other region outside Kikuyu Kalenjin, they are not sitting plenty with the UDA party, because recently Mwangi Kiunjuri has come out as a front runner to the running mate of the deputy president. Therefore, other people from other region who expected maybe a deputy president might give them the running mate position, the deputy president position, they have started packing home. Therefore, at the end of the day, as we speak, UDA is already spent, is heading to a political oblivion, because there are people who support Mwangi Kiunjuri. There are those who feel like the deputy president should get a running mate from other regions. Therefore, all this confusion, Miriam, is what making the party to tremble. But at the end of the day, this party was a party of people who misbehaved in the other party, and they were speculated. It was in clear thought that they will also misbehave in this UDA party.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Jevan Karanja, thank you so much. So now, Mr. Baraza, from the story that we're looking at as we look at this conversation, before we jump into other aspects of what is the UDA party, Mr. Baraza said he had taken up a new role to reconcile factions within the Luhya community ahead of 2022 elections. However, the latest move by Baraza, who has been at the forefront campaigning for UDA, has left many questions unanswered. I mean, Baraza is just worried about Bungoma politics. Musa. Professor.
Yes, Miriam, that's true. One thing I like about this Masparasa here, Miriam, a wise man and a clever man, a diligent man and a woman changes his mind. And this is what this Masparasa has done. The realization of the politics of this country, Miriam, is so much polarized into regional, tribal, even clanism, Miriam. The performance of UDA in Kabichai, in Matungu, in Machakos, Miriam, was a wake-up call. And Miriam, by the way, let me tell you, Dr. William Samoei Ruto is a difficult man to work with, if you have never known. Very difficult. He's not a team player. It is Mr. Know-it-all. You bring this idea, he will tell you stop. He's the one who believes that money can do everything. Yes, money can do some things, but not all the things. So Miriam, even the other day, I saw a clip and saying, oh, watu wa Western, mukitaka kujenga kanisa, mukitaka maendeleo, munakucha kwangu. Sivyo? Lakini wakati wa kura zikipigwa, asiko. So I'm sure Miriam, and now I'm using that from my political science, high-level thinking. William Ruto might have demanded results because Miriam, he has spent a lot of money in these two by-elections, and Miriam he has come out with nothing. So that is a clever way for this man to just disappear, simply because he cannot be able to account for the money was given to deliver Kabuchai. You heard him say Kabuchai is not Langata. It was not Kibra. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate. And Miriam, from the point of view, said that he will be an arbiter. Miriam, when you are betrayed to people, you don't choose yourself. You don't choose yourself.
He has offered himself.
You don't offer yourself.
Okay.
People say that Miriam can arbitrate for us. So from where he is, Miriam, who will trust him? These are the same people you were castigating the other day. The other day when you were in UDA, calling them Tanga, calling them all the names. So in terms of arbitration, in terms of being an arbiter, is far away from it because he's already partisan. So what he only need to do, Miriam, is to come back home, join the people to join the Bukusu nation, Miriam, and try where they can do the politics of their region. Otherwise, he has found a perfect excuse to run away from the Tanga side, because William Ruto, Miriam, is Mr. Know-it-all. You start these things, he tells you, no, that one, stop that one, stop that one, stop that one, stop that one. And watch this space. By the time we will go for an election, UDA might not even be there. Because, Miriam, time has come which we need to be like a team. Like here now, Miriam, a team here is together, each achieves more. Together, each achieves more. What am I saying? So, like now, Punchline Africa, we know the time to sign in, the time you ask questions, the way we carry ourselves. But you cannot go, Miriam, and you become Mr. Know-it-all. You are the one carrying money in a sack, giving people, Miriam. They should even move. The United, is it the UDA, United Democratic Alliance? It is United Dictatorship Alliance. Because those are the people who have run away from their parties, the way Javan puts and Douglas puts in here, Miriam. These are the people who cannot face discipline.
Okay.
Simply run away from the party which elected you to parliament. So there's much to watch. We are going to see more of this mass. We saw what Waruke said. You say what Mutama has said, because they have exactly done what I know of the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Samuel William Ruto.
Very well. Thank you, Professor. Musa, I don't know if you're back and if you can hear me. This latest move by a Kimilili Member of Parliament, Didmas Baraza, is it a sign of perhaps things not being well in the UDA party, or also is it a sign of things to come, and maybe we are likely to see a lot more leaders jolting out of the United Democratic Party alliance?
Thank you so much, Miriam. I think going directly to the point, it is so sad that there are some political parties in this country which are more younger than community-based organizations, something which anyone, can form at any time of the day. And when you look at our political parties, Miriam, they are more of embodiment of how the society in that particular perspective believes in. And now, the political parties, as Javan and Professor Onyari have put, they are just the carriers to achieve a certain political ambition. They are not the process to achieving a certain, impact to the society. When you see a political party like the cases for Tanzania, you see communities united under CCM, you see that embodiment of Julius Kambarage Nyerere. When you come to this unfortunate society of Kenya, Miriam, these are the synergies political parties are playing negatively. And as far as Didmas Baraza is concerned, let me tell you one thing. Didmas Baraza is the pure representation of all other politicians in such kind of political parties, Miriam. Some politicians in this country formed political parties 2 to 3 days before election when they were thrown out of the other political parties because they lost in primaries and some sort of elections, Miriam. So it is more of yet to come. You can't oppose anything here. Raila Amolo Odinga has not said he's going to vie for presidency. The UDA was formed particularly on the nemesis of stopping Raila presidency come 2022. Let us not lie to one another as far as this perspective is concerned. And when you see a party, Miriam, their offices are here in, I don't know, in Milimani or some side of the places, is that when you look at the programs they have, you ask them, do you have programs? Do you have plans? Do you have action plans? Do you have long-term, short-term arrangement of activities? Do you have engagement? The only plan they have, how can we open a branch? Opening a branch is nonsense. You open a branch, then what? Political parties need to have programs at a county level, how they can engage on debates, how they can follow on, some of the bills their MCAs are passing at a county level, and how political parties can sponsor them and how they can own them. But looking at our political parties, Miriam, especially at UDA, and very unfortunate political party, and that shows how quick and how weak even the office of the registrar political parties is in this country, Miriam. Let the truth be told. How can a party which was used to be called National Labour Party of Kenya changing its skin to Party for Democracy and Reforms, which was owned by the current, which is partaken by the current CS for Treasury and some other stakeholders in that region, are now changing the same tact now to calling it United Democratic Alliance. Miriam, we are not living in a mosquito circle whereby a mosquito larva turns into a mosquito and then a butterfly. We are not living. Political parties should be representation of the very nemesis of what is happening on the ground. You see Chama cha Mapinduzi, you see increased welfare programs, you see fight against corruption. You go to NRM, National Resistance Movement in Uganda, Miriam, anything to do with religion and Christianity, then NRM and Museveni are at the forefront. And that is the reason why Museveni rejected issues of lesbianism and gayism at the first sight, Miriam. So it is a wake-up call for us. And the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties is lacking the proper structures, Miriam, the proper leeways and pathways of strengthening party politics in Kenya. There might be funds, 30 million Kenya shillings a year. There might be a lot of engagements, capacity building by civil society organizations. But what political parties are going through, Miriam, put ODM here, put Jubilee here, put every political party in Kenya, you are not going to understand the difference between their ideologies, the difference between their policies, the difference between anything they vie for. But to make it clear, as far as, registration of political parties is concerned, Miriam, parties like UDA, you are a party leader for a certain political party which took you to power. Now, as nemesis of carrying high sense of political stupidity, you formed a political party so that your aim is to transgress or to frustrate the political party which your leader, the president, is in charge of. We've never seen such kind of political maneuvers, Miriam. And at the end of the day, it's going to end in what we call, Miriam, political suicide. You are going nowhere. The court might interject and say the political party was formed from another name of the political party, and even those members of political parties signed a post-coalition agreement with the leading party. So there's nothing like existing in this party, Miriam. And UDA is not only misleading William Ruto and some leaders there, it is misleading the people of Rift Valley. It is misleading the people who tend to have majority representation of MPs from that region, Miriam. I submit.
Thank you so much. And so in the recent Machakos senatorial by-election, Wiper candidate Agnes Kavindu Mudhama garnered 104,352 votes, and she was the winner of that by-election. And she was followed, I almost said closely, but that was not really close, at a very quite distance there, with the UDS candidate Abanas Gengeles 19,726. And of course, the by-election happened last Thursday there. This was a complete humiliation, Tawish. What could this possibly mean to the future of UDA, and what message did that send, you think? Tawish.
Well, sorry about that. Well, I think whatever has happened in as far as by-elections, the reason by-elections are concerned, Miriam and the panelists and everyone who is watching us, is that like Mudhama did say, the interim chairperson of the United Democratic Alliance, that this is an indication of what is going to come in 2022. And indeed, it has shown us what is going to come in 2022, if at all they are going to continue with this UDA party. Because again, going by the events in Kabuchai by-election, in Matungu by-election, and also in Machakos by-election, all pointers are that UDA is not destined anywhere. It is destined for failure. And that is why you see now some people, the leadership and some people who have been propagating the ideals of UDA party are going back to the drawing board and trying to find out how they can actually reinvent themselves politically, how they can identify with political parties that people are actually subscribing to, Miriam. And saying about that, of course, some of the panelists here have mentioned about the fact that almost all the people who are actually the propagators, or rather the drivers of this UDA party, are rejects of other political parties, people who do not want to follow the tenets of the political parties that actually elected them, or that actually sponsored them into the elective seats that they are currently occupying. They have actually talked about Aisha Jumwa. They have talked about Ali in Mombasa. They have talked about, of course, Deputy President William Ruto himself, a deputy party leader of a ruling party in this country, going ahead and sponsoring and actually becoming a leader of another, outfit when he has not denounced himself from Jubilee Party. At some point, they say they are ready to exit the party, that they no longer actually carry out, they no longer identify with Jubilee Party. But at some point, when there are any attempts to eject them from office, they start crying foul, they cry victim, they say they are targeted. That they are there to say, I do not understand why they're actually applying double standards. Mm-hmm. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that this UDA party lacks leadership. Like Deputy President William Ruto once said, when I remember when we are launching the coming together of all these other affiliate parties to form Jubilee Party at Kasarani Stadium, I think it was somewhere 2017, if I'm not wrong, Ali. Deputy President spoke of the opposition then, the National Super Alliance, as being clueless, as being rudderless, as being leaderless, as having no direction. And I think what is happening today in UDA is exactly that, because we do not have any leadership in UDA. When you have people who have run away from other political parties because of actually not wanting accountability, because they do not want to be controlled by ideals and tenets of those political parties, what does it speak? You have people who have, everyone who has high egos, people whom you cannot control. Everyone wants to become a leader. Everyone wants to become a spokesperson. So in this case, you cannot have all these people in one room and speak in one voice. That is why you see that disintegrating gradually, and eventually you will not have anything called UDA. You will not have anyone there. Maybe at long last, it may be Deputy President William Ruto. But I remember one of the panelists here said, Deputy President William Ruto might as well decide to run for presidency on an independent ticket, because he may find himself without a political party. Political parties is about the people. If you do not have people supporting you, mm-hmm. We have Musa here. Musa, who is one of our panelists here, is of a Muslim faith. I want to believe so. You cannot just talk of people opening up businesses, for example, butchery, and you say, I also want to go and open a pork eatery in Garissa, or for example, in Isli. You well understand that people within that place may not necessarily buy that, pork in that particular place, or in your butchery. So you will end up running a loss in that business. So I think that is what UDA is finding itself in this particular case, mm-hmm. because again, they came out with euphoria, they came out with excitement, and measured excitement that they are actually the party of choice. They are an alternative to Jubilee, they're an alternative to every other party that has ever existed in this country. But again, what are we seeing today? When they go back to stock taking, they find that they have nothing to take home, they have nothing to pride about, save for, like someone said here, Deputy President William Ruto will be calling for accountability, a lot of money. Actually, he spent a fortune in these by-elections, and even in carrying these activities, hurling insults to the presidents, disparaging the presidents, undermining the president's agenda. A lot of money has been used, but nothing to take home. They have not achieved anything so far. Mm-hmm. And I want to laud President Uhuru Kenyatta's unity with Raila Odinga, because again, they have united this country. They have renewed the spirit of the Kenyan people in forging ahead as a united people, and not buying any kind of factional politics that are intended to divide these Kenyan people ahead of every other election in this country, Miriam. Okay. So what I want to submit, Miriam, is that the people of Kenya have woken up to the reality. They know what they want, and they are rallying behind President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Want to realize the BBI, which anchors so many benefits, if at all we are going to implement, or rather to have this referendum, and whatever content therein is going to be implemented, then Kenyans are going to benefit a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think Kenyans are not going to buy into William Ruto's kind of propagandist kind of politics that continually wants to disparage and paint President Uhuru Kenyatta in bad light, when he's actually doing all he can to unite this country and ensure that inclusivity, politics of ethnicity has been brought to an end. Miriam, I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Samuel Tawish. All right, so now UDA suffered resounding defeats in the by-elections in Kabuchai and Matungu constituencies on March 4th, which were won by Musalia Mudavadi's led ANC Ford Kenya, that is under the leadership of Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula. And last week, UDA announced that it will not field a candidate in the Juja by-elections scheduled for May 18th. Douglas, is this a smart move on UDA's part?
Miriam, we think we need to be able to tell each other the truth.
Okay.
And I'll make a claim today that I think it is going not to end well for the Tanga people. You cannot build a party based on dubious means of funding. Miriam, the leader of UDA is Dr. William Ruto, a man that promised the people of Regio, Marakwet, Inarore, and Kimwarel 2 dams, and he took away with over 64 billion in terms of insurance, in terms of everything. And he came on national television and said it is just 7 billion that has been lost. That is the money that has been dishing out. What I wish is scoring current meetings and every meeting that Didmas Baraza of this world are running away from accountability. They have taken a lot of money, Miriam, funded the churches, and these churches have not gone out to vote for UDA, Miriam. You cannot use money that is meant for the poor people to benefit, to get water or education for you to build a party for you to win elections, Miriam. One of my favorite components of our constitution is the chapter 1 of our constitution, where it talks about the sovereignty of the people, or where people can decide to exercise their own democracy, their own power through directly or through elected representatives. In this case, the mandate to read has been denied to the people in UDA party, and that is the reality. And William Ruto can beat around the bush, can go swear holding the Bible, and then go to churches, continue funding churches using Aurora and Kimwarel money and everything. But Miriam, I can tell you for sure, the people have refused to dispense their mandate through UDA. The people have refused to be governed through a mandate that has been the bedrock that is UDA today. The people of Kenya have refused. Matungu, Kabuchai, everywhere, including Machakos, where the former senator is the UDA chairman. They have refused completely, Miriam. Even in Juja, William Ruto foresaw what is going to come and also what the people of Juja are going to do. And he had to withdraw, Miriam. In Garissa, he talks about backing a Jubilee candidate, something that has not come out of his mouth directly, Miriam. He has backed another candidate, Yusuf Haji's son. And Miriam, this is what is a sign of things to come. I want to buy what the UDA chairman said. What is the performance of UDA now is going to be reflected in future. Miriam, I cannot make an analysis outside what the UDA chairman Johnson Duya Mudama said. He has said we should be able to take and also run with the performance of UDA across the nation. The UDA chairman said that this is a sign of things to come, and I want to believe he is an old man, a man that is fit to be beyond my father's age, a man that is supposed to tell us the clear direction of political leadership in this country. He knows that this is a clear defeat for William Ruto, and that is why Didmas Baraza is running, the house is burning. That is why people are walking silently away from UDA, Miriam. And this is what we cannot be able to accept as the people of Kenya. The voters have rejected this kind of money that has been poured in Kabuchai. Remember, Miriam, they were getting arrested in Kiamukoma in Kisii County with a lot of money distributing to people. They were arrested with money in Kabuchai giving to people, in Matumbu giving to people so that they can get elected to power. And the people have clearly said the mandate to be read and also the power to be exercised through UDA has been denied completely. So, Miriam, this UDA party is a party that thought that they can ride on the wave of billions that are in the hands of William Ruto or in the wave of the Deputy President William Ruto. But those things have not worked, Miriam. The word of magic, according to the bird in Tanga today, has not worked. And according to every person of goodwill across this nation can see that what William Ruto thought will work in the name of money, like Professor says, he believes so much in money. Money has not been able to work. The only 7 billion that they stole from Aurora and Kimwalera has not been able to work, Miriam. Across this country, Miriam, these people have been pouring money. Tell me which party pours a lot of money. Even Jubilee Party, which is the ruling party, cannot pour money like William Ruto. A lot of choppers. Didmas Baraza was crisscrossing the country in a chopper. Rigathi Gachagua, promising William Ruto seat after seat. They delivered one MCA seat, Miriam. One.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Professor, UDA has been saying, or rather even the members who are still in Jubilee Party, by the way, they've been saying they do have numbers, and we see they've bolted out of fielding a candidate in the Juja by-election that is scheduled for May 18th. Are they scared, or they're just strategizing?
Miriam,
is it a wise move?
Miriam, you cannot serve. You know, what's more important is that it is good to be ambitious. It's good to have ambitions. But over the recent by-election, we have seen UDA Miriam has been very ambitious. and he has been getting disastrous results. So sometimes Miriam using a military strategy. There's some time when you know to take cover, when you strike, when to surrender, when to relax, and when to tell and when to charge. So on this one, Miriam, they don't want further defeat and humiliation, Miriam. And Miriam, soon we are reaching 2022. 2022 is not far away from us. So you need not to put much of your energies that you can be able to spare those the kind of money that even. You know that over the two election, the deputy president has used over 300 million, and you see with no results. So Miriam, they are taking the stock and licking the wounds they have suffered from those areas. And it's very strategic, Miriam, on that, because you need to do it, Miriam, on how you run a marathon. It's on how you start. You don't start a marathon with 100 meters speed. And that's actually what UDA has been doing. That's what I can be able to analyze on that, Miriam.
Okay, very well. Now, nominated Member of Parliament, Godfrey Otsotsi, blamed UDA's losses on their rush to participate in elections before putting up party structures. He said it was difficult for people to associate with UDA when Ruto was yet to declare his membership in the party. UDA is formed today and they go for by-elections. They have jumped the gun. The party has not been marketed, but are already jumping into by-elections. They're biting more than they can chew. Is Mr. Otsotsi right here, Javen?
Thank you very much. Godfrey Otsotsi is 100% right, because the UDA party, they claim that after losing the by-elections, they claim that they lost because the UDA party was 4 months old, 3 months old. And we are left with the question, why do you then sponsor candidates when you know you have a 3-old party that has no structure, that has no ground? Then you want to sponsor it. The UDA party has no members. They have no offices in the local levels. Therefore, even in terms of mobilization, there is no party agents. There is no party structure to mobilize people on their side. Therefore, this is a party that was that existed in paper, but in the ground there was nothing like the UDA. The UDA party is a party in social media. Is a party in it's just a party in the Tanga and Hustler imaginations. But when it comes to the reality, is a party that has lost the ground. And this is because of their own making. They formed this party because they wanted to show something. They want to show the handshake brothers that we can do something. We can have our own party. Don't dare us. We can form a party. We can sponsor candidates. But to their surprise, they forgot that you don't just sponsor candidates for the sake of sponsoring candidates, but you need to establish even the people you are giving the nominations. You know, these are parties that have not interacted with the common Wanjikos. Therefore, even the people who are given these nomination slots under UDA, to some extent, maybe they were unpopular, or even the candidate they don't resonate with what grounds want, because they were new political affairs that they sponsored to various positions. To me, that is a party, they lacked the skills and the knowledge to carry out this election. And I agree, this is because this is a party that was formed out of frustrations. This was a party that was formed to send a political message to other political parties, but they failed to have an ideology. They failed to bring their party together so that they can have a party that can go beyond 2022. UDA, Miriam, will not sustain this year because more people are defecting. And as I said earlier, UDA was formed by people who are politically, they are not politically principled. They're people who are politically indisciplined. Therefore, Miriam, when you have these people and you see a number of members of parliament who are in UDA, they, in one way or the other, mentioned in various corruption-related scandals in this country. Therefore, these are people who they are there just for political refugee. When times comes, they will jump ship and go to where maybe they feel safe. Number two, Miriam, the politics of this country, we call it, they are tribal, they are regional, and they are local. In the case of Didmus Barasa and Boni Kalwali and those from coast like Aisha Jumwa, when in any case, Amason Kingi and Hassan Joho happens to form a coast party, Miriam, today, you'll see the likes of Aisha Jumo and Muhammad Ali and Hassan Omar going back to the regional parties rather than concentrating on the UDA. That is a bad part of our Kenyan politics. At the end of the day, you'll see the likes of Didi Nyoro, Alice Wahome, Moses Kuria. When times comes, when the time will be ripe, Miriam, they will start resonating. What is this party in Mount Kenya region that we can use as a boat for political success? Therefore, at the end of the day, there's nothing new happening because the politics of this country, they are framed in such a way that you must resonate with their tribe, you must resonate with the region that it comes from. That is why you see Didmus Barasa, and we know even in this politics, and politics is about personal interest, Miriam. Even if I was the Didmus Barasa of this country, I could not have risked going with the UDA party in Kabuchai or Kimilili, knowing very well that Ford Kenya is a party to say, I cannot risk going to Vihiga with UDA party, knowing very well that
But why are you insisting that Didmus has left? He said he still believes in the ideologies of UDA, and he will be back. It's just 4 months. He'll be back. He promises he'll be back.
That is a political message because there are some photos going around him with with ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, and he has talked of concentrating the Mulembe nation. Therefore, at the end of the day, he is going back to hibernate, and when he comes out, he will come out with he cleansed from UD and Tangatanga, and he will change the political narrative.
Okay.
Maybe in future, if UD happens to go through until 2022, they can have a coalition. That is why you find in this country, Miriam, you bring regional and tribal parties to form a national kind of an outlook. I think maybe the only survival that UDA has is to form a coalition with the likes of KANU and the Jubilee, and maybe they will be given those small duties at the party, because to them they have proved not to be the right people to take this country to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Javen. So now there's something that Godfrey also before you come in. Who wants to come in?
Okay.
Tawish. Okay, Tawish, before you come in, maybe you can answer this as we go, come to an end of the show, but I'll get your final thoughts, everybody. Something that he said here, that he said it was difficult for people to associate with UDA when Ruto was yet to declare his membership in the party. And we've talked about this double-mindedness of our Deputy President, William Ruto. And now Mr. Sosi is saying this could be a liability, and this could be one of the reasons why UDA was not able to win some of these seats, because you're telling us to support this, but you've still not declared yourself as a true member of UDA party. So why should we even trust this UDA party? Does that argument hold any water, Tawish, as you respond?
It does to some level, Miriam, because again, it's not possible that you say you're no longer interested in that marriage, but you still want to stay in it. Because everyone is interpreting that as being hypocritical of Deputy President William Ruto, and most of the politicians that are actually associating with him and his UDA party. All these politicians, virtually all of them belong to other political parties, but again, they have identified and they're popularizing another, championing the interests of another political party, whereas they do not want to denounce the political parties that sponsor them into elective seat. That in itself, Miriam and the panelists in studio, is actually the height of hypocrisy, and that is what Kenyans are finally realizing, Miriam. Another point I wanted to submit, Miriam, is that, there's been a false narrative that was being peddled around, that William Ruto is perhaps famous politically, or is popular, or he has support of both elected and the supporters of Kenyans across the country. But I think with the recent happenings that has come to actually confirm the opposite. You remember what happened of course, during the impeachment of then the former governor for Kiambu, Ferdinand Waititu. You remember what happened? William Ruto and his clique of politicians or supporters were moving around and saying Waititu will not be impeached because he has numbers at the Senate. And it happened the opposite. The same thing happened when Mike Sonko was being impeached in Nairobi. You saw people allied to Tanga coming out to try and defend him, and the results are out for everyone actually to see. It does show that this person, UDA and William Ruto, does not have any support. We've given examples of the by-elections we have had in this country so far, and it has come to confirm that indeed William Ruto does not have any support. You remember a while ago, William Ruto used to call these politicians at his current office, ostensibly trying to parade them to try point a picture that they are support of a majority of elected members of parliament, and therefore if there was any initiative or any advance to try and impeach him, it will not succeed, it won't sail through, or if he has any agenda to pass through parliament, it will easily sail through because he has a majority of support in both the National Assembly and in the Senate. But again, when you looked critically at the numbers of the people who are attending those events, most of them are people who are actually rejected by voters, the likes of Mudama Hassan Omar, Boni Halwale. I mean, most of these leaders, some of them are his political strategists, just coming on board and basically because also they're going to go back home with some handouts. And I think that is also the biggest problem we are having with our politics. People do not actually advocate for that which is right. As long as you give them something to put into their pockets, they forget why they were elected into office in the first place. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, Miriam, is that William Ruto, UDA and his Tanga allies are eventually or finally realizing that they do not have the support of the people, that people are not buying their propaganda against President Uhuru Kenyatta, propaganda in the sense of dividing Kenyans along ethnic and tribal lines. And they're actually ready to rally behind President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga in moving this country forward. So the earlier the better for others who are still actually hanging on this UDA or with the Deputy President William Ruto to finally realize that there's no future in UDA. They should come back home like what Didmas Baraza is doing. Because with the BBI is about bringing together leaders and Kenyans together. You're seeing Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, Oparanya and others are leading that faction in western part of Kenya to try and rally the people of western Kenya to come together through BBI. That is the same thing that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is doing with the Nyanza region in this country. That is the same thing that Hassan Joho is doing at the coastal region. Okay. That is the same thing that the likes of Charity Ngilu, Kalonzo Musyoka are doing, for example, in Lower Eastern region. That is the same thing that Gideon Moi and other like-minded politicians are doing in Rift Valley region, Miriam. Okay. But again, we have William Ruto here and a faction of his rudderless leaders who are trying to divert the attention of Kenyans from this very important initiative of bringing Kenyans together. And it is good that finally some of them are realizing, and it is my prayer and hope that as we head to 2022 general election, UDA will be a shell and William Ruto will not have anyone around him or singing his song. Okay. I submit.
All right. Thank you. As we conclude, Kotu, Secretary General Francis Atwoli termed the UDA a briefcase party that had failed to make any political impact. Mr. Atwoli said the UDA losses, especially in Matungu and Kabuchai, show that the many people who attended Ruto's political rallies were either ferried or paid to attend, as their presence did not translate to votes. We have many parties formed after multi-party democracy and have no impact. UDA will be among such parties. Musa, what do you make of these sentiments by Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli? Musa, are you there? Okay, maybe.
Yes, Miriam, pardon.
Okay.
You can come again.
All right. Okay. Well, Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli termed UDA a briefcase party that had failed to make any political impact. Mr. Atwoli said that UDA losses, especially in Matungu and Kabuchai, show that many people who attended Ruto's political rallies were either ferried or paid to attend, as their presence did not translate to votes. We have many parties formed after multi-party democracy and have no impact. UDA will be among such parties. Is Mr. Atwoli right in his assertions?
He is right, Miriam, as far as that is concerned. But also our politicians and the likes of Mr. Atwoli, they need to be reminded that everything has an history, Miriam. What made Kenya rich that we are now tolerating a party like UDA? It never came out of a twilight. It never came out of the blue, Miriam. It's something which has been cooking for quite long. And people should be reminded that since the time of multipartyism, in 1992, when the first multi-party elections were conducted, Miriam, after the liberation, we tend to see that political parties were formed not on the basis of having a political process, of having engagements with voters on issues of this, issues, policies, and objectives of the party, but rather as a vehicle to achieving an election outcome, but rather as a vehicle of arriving at a political statement made by owners of this political party. It happened in 1997 when chaos came. In 2002, we saw it. The opposition had to gang up against the establishment, that is KANU, to achieve a tremendous victory under Mwai Kibaki when KANU was downtrodden. But look at how NAC could not survive up to 2007, Miriam. NAC really died on the spot, and in 2007, PNU came, the Party of National Unity. So we are seeing political parties, I will not call it mutation, but evolution, Miriam. And evolution in a political party is welcomed, but drastic evolution of even changing the party structures, of changing party symbols, is something which has been happening. The Party of National Unity could not stand the wave of 2013, Miriam. They could not achieve anything. It was only surrounded in areas of Othaya and Meru, whereby the party leader back then was Amos, the former governor for Meru County, Munya. And now all this has been happening with the presence of what I will call the underpinning of the registrar of political party, Miriam. These political parties have been going under this evolution. Did the registrar of political party also evolve to the demanding situation? Now when we are seeing UDA getting out of hands, as Atwole has put it, bribing voters, fairing people in rallies. Yes, UDA has been doing that, but we also saw the very same Miriam in 2013, in 2017, and even when you see some clips in 2007 among major political parties, and how political parties fueled the election violences of 2007, 2008, Miriam. All the time we blame people for fighting, but God forbid, if it happens in 2022 that there shall be a violence, God forbid, then I will be able to trace the weaknesses of such things happening to registrar of political parties, and even, Miriam, to a certain extent, to these political parties. It has been happening. Intimidation has been there. There was a time Deputy President was, talking to people in Burma. We saw two fellows being caught, and they said that they were being hired. Apart from that, when Raila Amolo Odinga was presiding over the same issue in Githurai, it came to be figured out that the Tanga people and the leaders from the area, led by the likes of Mwaura, the nominated senator, they gave people money, they gave goons money to preside over. So these things has been happening at both sides, Miriam. And I will prefer not to take even any stand on this, but what I will want to see, Miriam, making my final submission as far as this is concerned, the moment we allow the political parties to enjoy such sovereignty, Miriam, of doing whatever they wish to do, as far as even reaching the levels of threatening the status of national security in this country, then we are heading nowhere. Remember when Musalia Mudavadi published on in ANC, describing and sharing his frustration at the Kabuchai and Matungu by-election, Miriam, did the registrar of political party or the elections tribunal court take any action? No, Miriam. When the issues of tear gassing and, people fighting in London Ward and even in some areas happening, did the elections tribunal court, Miriam, and even the Kenyan court took any precedence and took any warning, Miriam, took any, cases to the court and warning people? No, Miriam. So I see the reason why UDA is surviving, it is not because of the presidency or anyone being weak. It is because of the weaker institutions, Miriam, tolerating such kind of actions, Miriam. I submit.
Very well. Thank you so much. So as we conclude very quickly, all of us would like for us to answer this question. Will UDA live to see 2022? Professor?
Yeah, Miriam, well, let me just build on from what Musa said, that it is very to Musa that the registrar of political parties or the institutions are weak. You can change your name, you can change your symbol at any time that you want. So what the registrar we only need to do is see that have you complied? Yeah, that's the parties or institutions have got their internal mechanism. As long as you comply with that, so you may not know that where is this United Democratic Alliance UDA coming from. So sometimes we should be very fair on them. Miriam, if we do not midwife the strategy, the redemption strategy which was started by the Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga and the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, by going all the stretch that we ensure, Miriam, we have the PBI and have the minimal changes that we have been proposed, Miriam. I can tell you for free what I saw happening in Matungu, what I saw happening in Kabuchai, save to Machakos. But you know what happened to Machakos, Miriam? The third wave was here with us, and all this political panic, Miriam, was done. So don't think that now that the Machakos were peaceful. No, they were never peaceful, Miriam. And the Ministry for Interior, I saw the administrators coming out very clear and saying that, Miriam, should you try to bring chaos in a polling station, you will be thrown out faster than thunder. So that's what happened in Machakos. But if you saw what happens in London Ward in Nakuru, what you saw happening in Kiamukama Ward, you saw what happened in Kabuchai, you saw what happened in Matungu. Miriam, that is a replica of what will happen in 2022. Mm-hmm. So Miriam, for those people who love peace, for those people who care for this country, for those people who are very patriotic of this country, for those people who are nationalistic for this country, for those people who well for this country, let us have the referendum. Let us address the peaceful elections, Miriam. Let us speak Utu, the national ethos. Let us get the Kenyan people know that we can share prosperity together, Miriam. Let money just go to the ground, so Miriam. So PBI to me is a do or die, because it will bring this country.
Okay. But
from what I'm seeing from our members of parliament who are having the appetite which we cannot justify, Miriam, and I don't know who, and if I were Paul preaching through them, I would say, surely, who bewitched the Kenyans?
Okay. Maybe they need the cleansing that Jevan was talking about. I don't know. He said Didmas ameenda kuwa cleanse, akirudi after your sabbatical atakuwa na speaking tongues or something else. I don't know. All right. Douglas, will UDA survivors, I'll call them teething challenges. So I'm saying this party is still very young. Okay, so it's the losses there, just teething challenges, and perhaps become a formidable force to reckon with in 2022.
Thank you, Miriam. One problem we are experiencing at UDA party is that this is a party that is led and also spearheaded by first-time MPs. And research shows in Kenya that out of every 10 first-time MPs, 7 are not going to make it back to parliament. And the performance of these most MPs from corruption allegations, from party insubordination, and all manner of things that has happened to UDA bona fide members and also leaders, is that these people, Miriam, if you count 1, 2, 3, 10 out of every 10 MPs in UDA, some of them are not going to make it to the next parliament. Remember, my MP is an UDA member of parliament, and the history of Central Imenti constituency in Meru County shows that an MP cannot serve 2 terms, Miriam. So if UDA and William Ruto are banking on my MP to be able to deliver the UDA seat in Meru County, it is not going to happen. In Ibori, the same thing. They don't vote for a person twice. So history and also the science behind our politics in Kenya shows that first-timers are not the best people to put your bet on. And this UDA party leader or the UDA patron, Dr. William Ruto, has put all his eggs in first-timers. Remember, this is a man that does not enjoy the support of regional leaders like Kalonzo Musyoka of Ukambani, Moses Wetangula, Mundavandi of this world, Raila of Nyanza, Uhuru Kenyatta of Mount Kenya, and also people from northeastern Kenya. So Miriam, critically analyzing this issue of UDA. UDA is dead on arrival. Mudhama told us, Mudhama is the party chairman of UDA, that
This is a sign of things to come. And I anchor my submission on this, Miriam, as I conclude that UDA is a party that is dead on arrival. And also looking at the people, the faces that are behind UDA, these are people that are going to receive the wrath of the voters in the coming election, because most of them, instead of working for the people of their constituencies, they have been moving from one place to another. I have found Didmas Baraza in Meru County more than I have found him in Timilili. And this is the same man who has said now it is the high time I focused on my constituents, they might sack him. That
is a good move. So he's realized, now let me
yes, Miriam. And except for Didmas Baraza, Miriam, there are very many other people who are going to be casualties of this UDA party. Where Didmas Baraza said, my people forgive me, because in politics we have to see what is not being said. What Baraza was saying is that these people are going to sack me in 2022 and William Ruto not save me, Miriam. So I'm saying that this party is dead on arrival. If people can hear what Baraza said without saying it to the media, they can decamp from that party, go and apologize to their voters like Baraza did, or John Waruke of Siriskia, and go back to their backyard so that they can get elected next time. Because Miriam, for UDA, I have no kind words for them.
Okay. All right, thank you. Baraza ameona hii kutangatanga might it has been at the expense of the development agenda of the people who took him to parliament. Akasema shanirudi huko your sabbatical to see the priorities of his people. So I think that's good for him. Good for you there, MP Didmas Baraza. All right, Jevan Karanja, will UDAs live to see the light in 2022?
Miriam, from the things that you are seeing, from what UDA is and how it is structured, UDA is a party that will not see 2022. And if it will see 2022, maybe it will be under new leadership, under new members, and all the members who are in UDA today, all of them should have gone for a sabbatical leave and converted to other members. But from the way it is and the membership and the leadership of as currently constituted, Miriam, UDA is just a bubble and it will burst at the fullness of time. Thank you.
Very short and precise. Bosa.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And just to make my humble submission is that going the way forward, Miriam, all these issues we are seeing, political parties bringing confusion to Kenyans. We are already grappling with economic frustration. Kenyans are grappling with now the third wave. We are grappling with, issues of inequalities, poverty. The other day, now people are now complaining whether the KCSE or the KCP candidates are fully prepared for these exams, Miriam. And now to make it worse, these politicians have decided to be so idle instead of discussing issues of national security and national development, that the best they can discuss is party politics and UDA, Miriam. I think we need a break from this. Even as a region, we are mourning, Miriam, that we've lost one of the chumas and the jembes we call Dr. Joseph Pombe Magufuli. As a region, we should be now having a discourse on now. We knew at a certain point, the person who was leading the region on the war against corruption and ideals was Dr. Pombe Magufuli. Who shall be the next? These are the issues we should be discussing, Miriam. As a region now, you've seen yesterday from Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, from Masisi to Edgar Lungu, people are discussing, and even Ramaphosa, he was saying, as a region, we want to adopt Kiswahili language. Why can't you bring such kind of national discourse to this country, Miriam? The politicians are the one who should be influencing such kind of things. Everything they are playing is local. I don't fully agree with the pressure for Didmas Baraza, but he decided to call. It was not some sign of passing a message, but Didmas Baraza made it so local. Even the way he was discussing, it was looking like more of local meeting. We need a break from this, Miriam. Political parties come and go, elections come and go. But one thing which will stay, Miriam, it is this country called Kenya. And it is high time. All the time we are saying President Uhuru Kenyatta is someone who can even give you a rope. He can give you a lifeline, Miriam, the way he did to William Ruto yesterday. I think the time to now move with a sharp panga, Miriam, and, taking actions as far as policy orientation and being in charge, as he has put it the other time, Miriam. should be the time now, Miriam. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Musa Abdi Haji from Isiolo County. Thank you, Professor Jared Onyari. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi. Thank you, Jevan Karanja. Samuel Tawish, maybe very quickly, will UDA survive to see 2022 and perhaps be a force to reckon with in the next elections?
Miriam, the answer is very short, no. And what I want to add on that is that, even the prodigal son in the Bible was accepted back home. And so if we are having the likes of Didmus Barasa who are actually finally realizing that they were on the wrong path and they're coming back home, let's accept them as long as they agree to the fresh baptism, they agree to redeem themselves so that we accept them, albeit cautiously. Because again, we're not very sure that the return of the likes of Didmus Barasa is for all good intent. It could be maybe, they could be, people who are being planted by the other side of the political divide to try and infiltrate and understand exactly or clearly what is happening in these or other political formations in the arrangement of BBI. And so when such kind of people, because the other day I saw Didmus Barasa singing with a lot of energy, with a lot of zeal, singing about William Ruto and UDA, and suddenly saying that first of all taking a sabbatical, but again I'm re-strategizing and saying what is the interest of my people. If it means coming back home and singing the same song with Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi, and the likes of Muhisa Kitui, so be it. So I'm saying let's accept them back home, albeit cautiously, because we do not know whether it is all good intent. To you, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. And now he's a mole. Okay, Tawish, thank you so much. And our viewers, thank you so much for watching. This has been the People's Court. My name is Miriam Ogutu. I shall be back here at 3 p.m. East African time with the news making headlines across the continent of Africa in Diaspora Dispatches. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now. The government of Kenya is keen on the development of social economic infrastructure to support the realization of the Big Four agenda and Vision 2030. The ambitious infrastructure projects are aimed at opening up the country for business and bolster productivity, particularly in the agricultural, manufacturing and the service industry, as this would bolster employment opportunities. Part of these critical infrastructure projects include the ongoing 27-kilometer expressway linking Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and Nairobi's Westlands. Upon completion, the expressway will exponentially reduce travel times within Nairobi and thus help the country save man-hours, which is being lost in the traffic jams on a daily basis. The Lake Victoria Port Modernization Project to increase cargo handling capacity of the port and to increase Kenya's bilateral and multilateral trading within the region. The expansion of healthcare facilities to facilitate fruition of the country's universal healthcare coverage under the Big Four agenda. By speeding up movement of people and goods, the government is aiming to promote trading through reduction of travel times and costs.